Highway 16 is a highway situated between Prince George and Prince Rupert in Canada. It's a highway that is really quiet, not so many cars pass by it actually, and it's this horrible and sad highway that we call the Highway of Tears. This highway witnessed a lot of victims around the years from 1969 to 2019, and apparently it's still happening. It's still happening, you know. Women generally get raped, you know, and killed there. It happens to men, but it's mostly indigenous women. And there is a lot of cases and victims, but I can't talk about them all. I am gonna discuss the most famous ones to me with you guys and just try to show you how much neglected and how these cases were not taken seriously by the police just because of their those people origins, you know. They were indigenous women, so the police didn't really care that much about them. So there is Ramona Wilson, who was 16 years old. She went missing in June 1994. She was supposed to go to the highway and thumbs up, you know, just to stop cars because they were really poor, her and her family, so they couldn't, you know, afford a car or taxi or something. So, and it's really common in, you know, in this town, in their town, for people to do that. So she like auto stopped, we say, auto stopped car, you know, like thumbs up, and that's what she was supposed to do because she wanted to go to her friend's house, Crystal's, and so they can get prepared together and go to the party. But actually, Ramona never made it to her friend's house. She, but like Crystal didn't really worry that much. She just thought that her friend canceled her plans and she just changed her mind. She didn't want to go to the party anymore. So the next morning, when Ramona didn't show up to class, Crystal started worrying a little bit, and she decided to go. She decided to wait in the afternoon when her school is finished to see if she can go to Ramona's house to ask about her. And all of this time, Ramona's mom and her family, they thought that Ramona is in Crystal's house, at Crystal's house. And when Ramona didn't show up to her job, that's when people started, you know, noticing her missing. Crystal did show up to Ramona's house, and the job called, or they sent people to warn her family that she didn't that, you know, Ramona didn't show up to her job, which is really strange because she never missed her job days. So when this happened, that's when Ramona's family and her friend realized that Ramona is missing. Like 2 days ago, she was not around from yesterday's morning. So they decided to go to the police, which was a really difficult decision for them to make because indigenous people have a really bad relationship with police and they just don't really get along. The police discriminate them all all the time in every cases, and that's what we are gonna see in most of these cases. That's what happened. And you know what, if they didn't go and ask for help to the police, man, it will be better. Like no, it will not change anything actually, because when they got there, they told them about Ramona's missing, and the police officers were like, she's just a teenager, she just ran away, she will come back soon, don't be afraid, she will come back. And actually they also blamed her, victim blaming. They also blamed this Ramona girl, because she just got to the highway and did like the auto stop. She tried to stop cars to travel from her town to another's, so they blamed her. And the family was left alone. They were left to themselves in this case. They were trying to search for Ramona, for their daughter, with their own, without any help from professionals or the police, nothing. And they didn't even had money to finance their research. They were just doing really little job, not a real job. They did what they could to do to try to find their daughter. So it wasn't there wasn't like so much done to try to find her. So some months after that, there was another missing. Delphine Nicole went, who was 16 at the time, went missing also. She disappeared in the same. Delphine did disappear in the same weird and really mysterious circumstances as Ramona. She was supposed to go to the highway and auto stop cars, thumbs up to stop cars. And so she could go from her town to another really far town. But we actually never saw her again. Her mom, Judy Nicole, when she noticed her daughter is not around, she immediately decided to go to the police, even with the fear that she was feeling, because the relationship wasn't really good. So even with that, she just go to the police, and they told her the same narrative as Ramona. They told her that she's a really rebellious teenager, she just decided to run away. But her mother, Judy, knew that Delphine is in danger, because she will never do something like that. Judy was sick, and it's Delphine who was taking care of her, and she told them that. So, and their answer was like, a child is not supposed to go and take care of their parents. It's the reason why she ran away. She was really sad in your home. So it was her answer, to her daughter missing. Years after that, the organization, the Missing Children of Canada, saved $10,000 to as a recompense to anyone with information to Ramona's missing, just Ramona's. And they also sent them a clairvoyant, like a seer, and a group of detectives to Ramona's town, so they could see what's, try to search for informations. And the day about of her missing and work on it. But the police didn't tell them about Delphine's case. And her mother, Judy Nicole, wrote in a letter. On the letter, she said, "My name is Judy Nicole, and everyone knows that my daughter is missing since 5 years ago. It's sad to see all the efforts put in Romana's case and nothing in my daughter's research. I am not mad at Ramona's family, but I feel discriminated because I did it all. I wrote letters and did so many phone calls, but nothing. I did so much, but have always been confronted to a solid wall. Why no one cares about my child? Financially, I got nothing left. Emotionally, I am drained and I'm physically sick." And Judy passed away the same year, not knowing what was her daughter's destiny. So if you think the police didn't do nothing in Ramona's case, it's worse than Delphine's. But the people who were sent by the Organization of the Missing Children of Canada really helped in Ramona's case. The seer told them that she see like a yellow color and an airport with the pist 4 and a lot of white clothes. So some weeks after that, a group of young boys who were playing around found some bones and girls' clothes. So they immediately reported that to the police, and the police officers called Ramona's mom to try to identify her, the clothing. So when Ramona's mom showed up to the police office, she immediately recognized her daughter's clothes, and they confirmed her murder, her death, and that's how she found out. So, and there is 2 other cases that I really want to talk about also, about an indigenous young girls who were living sexually exploitation. So there is Roxana Tiara, who was 15 years old. The last time we saw her, she was with a client going on his car, and her body was found the 8th December 1994. She was murdered. And just the next day, there was Alicia German, who was 15 years old. She was living the same thing as Roxanne, but she was supposed to go to an event who is witches, which is made up every year in their town. It's an event between the police officers and the people, the indigenous people, so they can get to see each other and know each other and try to break the conflicts. There's food, and they also make gifts to each other and everything. So when Alicia was serving herself, she slipped, like her plate slipped on a policeman, and that's what happened. But after she finished her dinner, she told her cousin that she will come back, she will like go away a little bit, and she will come back to get her gift. But the same night, Alicia German was found dead. She was stabbed to death. So I personally find it really weird that she had this, bizarre altercation with this policeman, and the same night she was found dead. But yeah, okay. And it's in the same, months or weeks, there is another girl who is, guess what, who is 12 years old. She was also sexually exploited, and she had a really weird and scary experience with a client who threatened to kill her if she says nothing to the police or to anyone. So when he threatened to kill her, she was really afraid. She got scary and got to the police to report what happened to her. And the police noticed that she has the same profile as a lot of the girl missing or the girls who get murdered. So they started thinking about a serial killer if there's someone who is responsible about all these murders. So in 2002, the police arrested David William Ramsey, who is a judge in the court of Prince George. A judge, it's crazy that people like him are getting all of these crazy posts and jobs. But in 2002, he was removed from his post, and he was put in jail for 7 years. It's really little. He actually died in 2008 in prison. A lot of girls testified about him, and all his victims were really young, indigenous young girls who were really vulnerable. So the victims of this highway of tears got attention when Nicole Orr, who was 24 or 25 at the time, disappeared. She was supposed to go with her colleagues to plant trees and spend the weekend there. But after that she decided to spend time alone, and they will meet after the weekend. So they got there, and they separated in their separated way. But after the weekend, they came and Nicole didn't show up. So the company that she works for warned her parents, who immediately called the police, and they started their investigations the same day. Nicole's pictures were all over British Columbia. They're all over the towns, and the biggest newspaper, the most famous news channels talked about her missing, which didn't happen to, which is good, but they didn't put this much effort into all of these girls disappearing in the same way that Nicole did. And the police didn't even try to connect or thought to connect all Nicole's case to all of these girls. But when her parents realized that there is thousands of girls missing, but only Nicole's pictures who were framed all over the town, they were shocked. Even if they were in a position of privilege, they didn't accept all of this injustice, and they searched to all of these girls' families so they could support each other. So in Canada, it's estimated that 1,200 indigenous women disappeared or were killed. And it's actually just an estimation, because we think that it's more an elevated number because there is a lot of missings and murders which don't get report to the police. So it goes to 4,000 of women, indigenous women, who were killed or just disappeared. We don't actually know what happened to them because these cases don't get resolved. And we can actually notice that even if some indigenous women got the media's attention, it's not the same way as a white person who disappear or like get murdered, because the victim is not described the same by the media, and we can notice that in all the cases. They actually blame the victim in most cases in indigenous women, and when it's a white person who disappear or something, we talk about their hobbies, their all the great things about them, but we self-blame the victim in indigenous cases because of racism, and which is actually really sad. And I did this video to you guys to just show you how much discriminated those people are. And now I feel like a lot of organization, humanitarian organization, try to help, try to afford to these people houses, and they actually sent a lot of cars and buses there to the families and the indigenous community, so they can stop auto stop cars in the highways and just on the streets. But you can't even blame them to do that because it's a really large country. You can't just walk miles and miles, you just gotta do something. So yeah, I really hope this video will spread some awareness about the indigenous community and the discrimination and the racism they faced and they still live till this day, since years, since the start of their existence. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, subscribe to my channel and thumbs up.